Welcome to the channel, friends. So today I'm going to cover and touch on a question I've been asked a lot about my ATV. Now, a couple of years ago I installed a big gun slip-on exhaust. It was the stainless steel EXO exhaust, I believe. I will link a tag up above so you can check out that video. But a lot of people have asked me why I have gone back to the stock exhaust. Now, this exhaust here has the spark arrestor removed to add an aid in flow. But the main reason I went back to the stock exhaust is because the big gun exhaust was very drony. It was very loud, very drony, especially when you go for rides for a longer period of time. It would really bother me. I would get a headache, and it would really kill my head, and I just did not like it after a while, and it got very annoying. I could not hear my fellow ATV riders that were with me in the group. It's a very loud exhaust, that big gun, and pretty much that's going to be for any aftermarket exhaust. It's going to be very loud, especially if you straight pipe it. So with that being said, this exhaust here on the 2018 is an improved exhaust from the 2017 model year. So they improved the exhaust flow on the stock exhaust, and I'm pretty happy with the sound of this with the spark arrestor removed. You really get a little more bark and a little more snap out of it, but it sounds great in the factory form. So just because I go for longer rides sometimes and I don't want to have to switch out the can every time, I went back with the factory exhaust. It's just a little more pleasant if you do a lot of trail riding. You know, if you do small riding here and there, 5-10 minutes, the big gun and aftermarket exhausts, they sound cool. I'm not going to lie. They sound really nice. They're loud. But after a while, I'm telling you, if you go for longer ATV rides, you're going to get very annoyed with it. Your ears are going to be ringing. You're going to be very fatigued. You're going to want to wear earplugs like I did. I wore earplugs underneath my helmet, and it still was very drony. This stock exhaust is still somewhat drony to begin with. And it's not just me. My friend said the same thing when we had him ride the 850 when we were up in Jericho. He mentioned the same thing. He didn't believe me at first. He made fun of me for the longest time, saying that, you know, why'd you put the stock exhaust back on, this and that, and kind of ragging on me. But not until he actually rode the 850, which is the same exact exhaust, he realized, he was like, wow, you were actually right. The stock exhaust still does drone a little bit, and through certain RPMs, when you have the thing kind of pinned, when you say you're going about 20, 30 miles an hour, 40 miles an hour, when you have the throttle constantly open, you get a droniness in your helmet, or in general. Without a helmet, it's still there. It's just the acoustics and the placement and the position of the exhaust, the way it kind of flows out of the machine, it's very kind of drony. Now, some people might notice this more than others. I'm kind of sensitive, so I notice it. A lot of people just ignore it and don't want to accept the fact that it's drony, but it is drony. So with that being said, I went ahead like about a year ago, a little bit less than that, and put back the stock exhaust, and I'm much happier now. I can ride the machine without earplugs. You know, it's a much more enjoyable ride. I don't have to worry about coming home with a headache after an hour or two of riding or more. Sometimes I ride, you know, 6 to 8 hours a day if we go up to northern New Hampshire and Jericho near the White Mountains in Berlin. So that's the reason why I went back to the stock exhaust. A lot of people have been asking me this. I get a lot of flack for it, but I just decided to make a video and to explain why I went back to the stock exhaust. It's not because I don't think the aftermarket ones are cool and this and that. It's because for the type of riding I'm doing, I want to be able to enjoy my machine. I don't want to come home with a headache. So that's what I did. Now, with that being said, I may go ahead in the future and try out the RJWC dual exhaust for this machine. Now, it's a dual can system that comes out on either side of the machine right about here. But some of the installs I've seen online so far show that the end cap might interfere with the stock bumper. And you might get some like blow-by onto the bumper, which is not good because just like the big gun, I had to put a turn-down tip on it. So if you don't put a turn-down tip on your pipe, you will get a full blast into the backside of the bumper here, and it will burn the paint off of it. And also, it's going to sound different. It's going to sound weird because it's going to reflect all that sound wave back onto the rider instead of coming straight back. So that's another thing I didn't mention about the big gun, is that the big gun needed a turn-down tip that I had to custom make. So it would turn down and project the sound down to the ground versus up against the back side of the bumper, which was a problem. If you don't have the factory Polaris bumper, then it's not an issue, but if you do, you'll notice that it's going to burn the hell out of your bumper and burn the paint off of it. A lot of the exhausts out there are not meant to be used with a rear bumper. They essentially design them to use with an open backside, and that's it. But I may try out that exhaust. I'm wondering if the dual cans will be quieter than a single can. They might, but I've heard good things and they sound really great. All right, so moving along, I want to touch on something else that you guys might have noticed, is that I still have the big gun power box attached. Now, the reason why that's still there is because I am using a K&N air filter, and also I have the spark arrestor removed, like I said earlier. So those two things right there are going to add more flow to the engine, and if you do not compensate with more fuel, you will run a lean condition on your machine. So that's the reason why I have the big gun power box. It's to adjust the air-fuel ratio and to keep it correct. The machine runs really well, no issues with it the way it is. I may go ahead in the future and do a AFR video and see what the air-fuel mixture is at different RPM ranges, under load, etc. So that might be a future video. But the next video I plan on doing, or the next series of videos I plan on doing on the ATVs, is some mod videos. I want to do like the snorkels on the machines. I have some parts here already. As you can see, I have the Warrior plate, 2 of those. I'm getting all my parts together, some couplings. So I'm putting together the whole system for this machine, both of them actually. I want to do a stealth snorkel system. I do not want to do a, big tube snorkel system that has the tubes kind of sticking up past the handlebars and things like that. I hate that look. I want to retain the use of my storage, the front storage, and also retain the use of the headlight and keep that factory look going. I will do a stealth snorkel system, so that means primarily moving the exhaust and intake of the clutch housing all the way to the top here above the tank. And same thing with the intake. I plan on extending the intake and possibly rising that up to the handlebars. So I haven't decided yet exactly how I'm doing that. I have an idea that I planned out that seems like it's going to work. But I will put that together in a whole separate video. That's stuff that's going to be coming. Also, I have some waders I plan on trying out. I bought some gated waders, but I did not like the way they fit for me and my girlfriend. So I ended up returning the gated waders. I ended up getting the uninsulated version, which I did not like the fit. They're really tight on the knees. There's no stretch in the material. It's like a PVC plastic, windbreaker type material. It was not good for flexibility. They did not have the neoprene style in stock, which is the one I highly recommend getting if you're doing any ATVing, because it allows you full motion of your legs and knees and allow you to bend, which you're going to have to do on a machine. So with that being said, I just did not like my first impressions of the gated waders, but I'll go more into detail about that in the actual wader video, but more riding and mod videos coming. So let me know what you guys want to see and hear. I'll try to make that possible. I'll have more mud tire action coming because we are in mud season and there's going to be a lot more mud and water out there. Once I get the snorkels on, then I plan on going out and going into some deeper water and mud. I do not want to go out right now because the machines are not snorkeled. So mud tires are ready. I recently did a set of 1-inch spacers on my XP1000. So as you can see, it sits a good 2 inches off the side armor rails. Now that's sitting at 55 inches in the rear. That's because of the wheel offset in the bead locks and also the 1-inch spacers I've added on. So with that all combined, I got a 55-inch rear and I believe it's 53.5 in the front. So very comparable to the Sportsman S model, but more footage and action of the different tire setups I have coming soon. So I have the Blackwater Evos, and I have a set of System 3 XM310s. And those are Michelin Pilot Sport Cup 2 tires. Those are not for the ATVs. Those are for the ZR1 Corvette. So more work on the Vet as well. I know you guys are probably not interested in that, but I'm doing a whole heads and cam build on this. Ported snout, ported blower, ported heads, a lot of high quality parts, and it's going to put down hopefully minimum 900 wheel horsepower on like E60 or so, E50, E60. So I'll run the flex fuel setup and everything. But let's not get carried away with vet stuff. So with that being said, guys, I really hope you enjoyed the video. And if you have any questions or comments, please place them right down below. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, please go ahead and do so. I want to thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.